So obviously we know where your message is placed is important, and how people see your message is important. And a part of how they see that message is your identifier, your brand identifier. And there's really two types of brand identifiers. There are word marks, which should be one word, and logos. And so if we look at the logos on screen here, we see Google, Facebook, the CBS Eye, and I know this isn't a broadcast logo, but the Nike swoosh. So out of these, obviously some of them are word marks and some of them are logos. So any guesses as to which is which? That's right. Google is a word mark, and Facebook is both a word mark and a logo, because if we just see that F sitting around, or even if we see that little thumb, the like thumb, we can associate all that with Facebook, but Facebook also has a font that they write their name in. The CBS Eye obviously is a logo, because we can just see that eye and know that it's CBS. The NBC Peacock is another example of a logo. And nowhere on this screen does it say Nike, but we know it's Nike because we recognize the swoosh. So are there advantages to a word mark versus a logo? Of course there are. And we look at the definition of word mark as per Wikipedia. And it's usually a distinct text-only typographical treatment of the name of a company, institution, or product name used for purposes of identification and branding. It's usually a simple graphic treatment to create a clear, visually memorable identity. Of course, a logo is a graphic mark, emblem, or symbol commonly used by commercial enterprises, organizations, and even individuals to aid and promote instant public recognition. Logos are usually purely graphic symbols or icons. According to Tony Spaeth from Identity Works website, you should consider a logo or a symbol when your name is too generic, too long, doesn't translate well globally, or is hopelessly deficient in personality. So, you know, a lot of times those logos help us identify what the product is. Like FedEx, it actually has an arrow embedded into the logo. Another reason why you might consider a symbol or a logo is you need an emblem on the product, as on a car hood or a sneaker. You need to link subsidiaries to the parent and can't easily use the name. The Bell symbol served this function for the old AT&T and its operating companies. And for those of you who don't know, Bell used to be the telephone service of basically the whole United States. And then the government broke them apart because they were a monopoly, and AT&T became part of Bell. But Bell was broken apart into many pieces. But AT&T wanted to keep that kind of that recognition, and so they incorporated the Bell symbol into the AT&T logo for a while. Or if you have or can afford ample media to teach us what the symbol means, and that's probably one of the most important ones, because NBC and CBS, we know exactly what those symbols mean, but they have been around for 50 years. The Nike swoosh, we know exactly what that is because they spent $1 bazillion on advertising, and you have to be committed to spending money in advertising. You know, the Starbucks logo, people recognize Starbucks, but there's a lot of people who wouldn't initially recognize that logo, you know, unless they are Starbucks users and see that logo on their cup all the time. Starbucks hasn't spent a ton of money on television advertising to get that logo in your face. When to use a word mark. Your name is reasonably distinctive, but not yet a household word. Kind of like Google. That's a very distinct. Although I've heard that Google originally wanted to be called Backrub, which I find very odd, and I think they're probably very happy they chose Google, because now Google is not just the name of a company, it's a verb that we use. We Google each other, we Google different companies. You want to associate products or subsidiaries with a parent more clearly and directly than a symbol permits, or communication funds are limited and should be focused on name recognition. And again, this is the big one. So that's why you'll find a lot of people incorporating both a word mark and a logo, like Facebook, which is a really smart thing to do because they're utilizing brand identification there, making sure you know that it's Facebook, but adding that little logo to help you eventually be able to shorten that recognition. So another thing you need to understand the difference between is signature versus theme. So we're going to talk about theme first, and back in the 90s, NBC developed a very impressive theme. It was called Must See TV, and it was the theme of Thursday night.
Thursday, it's an all-new, absolutely can't miss.
Must See TV.
Wow! First on Friends, Tom Selleck's back, but this time, they're just friends. Yeah, right. And on The Single Guy, Dan's getting friendly with Marie.
Your hand is on my thigh.
It's a friendly gesture.
And Seinfeld, has it really come to this?
Trust me, Kramer, given the legal opportunity, I will kill you.
And on an all-new Naked Truth, Taya's got one of those dates. What a jerk. All-new Must See TV Thursday.
So Must See TV became their kind of identifier with a particular night, and then eventually they used it throughout the network to talk about Must See TV. And so that was really a theme. It was a thematic idea, and you'll find a link on here talking about basically themes are like campaigns. So it's not necessarily going to be always identified with the logo or the brand, but it's a theme that carries through on a very consistent, long-running campaign. Another big campaign was ABC did the TGIF in the, I think, late 90s, and it was Thank Goodness It's Friday, and it was to promote their Friday lineup. Again, that was a great theme for them. iHeartRadio, this is another spot with the dreamy Adam from Maroon 5.
This is iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio.
iHeartRadio makes you want to move. When you have a great melody, a song can last forever.
Instantly connected.
I love it when the beat goes boom.
iHeartRadio is the way I get to you.
The biggest song, the biggest artist,
All in one place.
iHeartRadio.
I'll see you there.
So their theme wasn't necessarily a theme with words associated with it. iHeartRadio's theme is really the biggest musical acts, and obviously we're not talking about country, we're talking about pop, and it's the biggest musical acts are associated with that particular radio station. So that was kind of a theme. A signature, such as on the Lifetime logo, is something that every time you see the logo, you see their signature. So it's not just Lifetime, it's Lifetime Television for Women. So their signature is Television for Women. So a signature is something that is with the logo, and it sticks with the logo for, for Lifetime since the inception. It's been there. So some brands, like we'll go back to Nike, for a long time, their signature was Just Do It. You never saw the logo without that particular signature, which was Just Do It. So a lot of brands end up with a signature, and remember, the signature sticks with the logo. It's a part of the logo almost. You will notice that obviously there is a lot more signatures with radio than there is television, and really, if you took a programming class, you'd understand that radio is really narrowly tailored. They're trying to gain one audience. So all of their marketing, even when they are doing image marketing for their station, is fairly consistent, where television is what they call like vanilla ice cream. You're just trying to get a really big audience, and the shows are going to narrowcast it for you. But the station is mainly going to be kind of generic. It's going to be able to air whatever shows you want it to air. So a signature tends to be a lot more helpful in radio than in television. And then finally, I think y'all know this, but maybe not. The lottery. It is illegal to advertise a lottery on any broadcast station. And a lottery, unless it is a state-run lottery or a government-run lottery. But there are 3 parts that make up a lottery: prize, chance, and consideration. And if you have those 3 parts, it is a lottery. And a lot of times, promotions will end up, one of the things they say is, trying to basically bribe your audience during ratings. And so Wheel of Fortune does this a lot, where they will, if you watch during one of the breaks in Wheel of Fortune, they'll give you a special number, and people can go online and get this special number, and then if it's your number, you win. So that seems like a lottery. If you watch Wheel of Fortune, you get to win money. So the difference there is a prize. You could win money. There is chance. Not everyone's going to win money. Just a couple of people are going to win money. But there is no consideration, which means you don't have to pay anything. All you need to do is log on to the website and sign up for this giveaway, and then see if your number is drawn. So you just have to be careful as a promotions director. Public radio stations have gotten in trouble in the past because they have, during their pledge drives, and it may be public television stations, but during their pledge drives, someone came up with a great idea to anyone who pledges to become a member gets put into a drawing to win, maybe something from an artisan in the area, or maybe they might win a cruise, or, well, that would be a lottery, and that would be illegal to do because you have a prize, not everyone's going to win, and there's consideration. The only way that you can be put into that drawing is to actually pay money, which is to pay money to become a member, and that's the only way you get in the drawing. So that is a typical radio station. That is a typical lottery, which you could get in big trouble for. And then finally, the essential message. The essential message on every promotion that you do. So if you're doing an episodic, you're trying to drive someone to a specific show at a specific time on a specific station. You need to make sure all that is included in your promotional message. You have to have the time, the day, and the location, or your promotion was for naught. If they can't get there, then you've wasted your money. So that tends to be with episodics, but even image promotion, if you're promoting a show as an image, you still want to let people know what that show is and when it's on so they can watch it. If you're promoting a network just as an image, which a lot of times, again, you don't find that much in television because we're very generic. To try and just promote a network is very difficult and really falls flat because you're not really giving people enough information. But if you're in radio, most of the time you're trying to get people to listen to your station, and you're trying to get people to listen to your station, and no matter when they listen to it, they should get the same type of feeling. So a lot of times radio stations, they're doing a lot more image promotion because they're just trying to draw you to the station, whether it's morning drive or evening time or during the day, it doesn't matter because they have about the same sound. Now, if they're doing an image promotion where they talk about what accurate weather forecast they have and how they have traffic reports every 20 minutes, they're probably trying to draw you to the morning because that's when that would happen. So You know, that essential message again is going to tell you where you need to go and what time you need to tune in to see or hear whatever it is you're advertising.